Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. 2 weeks ago, we did Task Force Z Volume 1, and today we are doing Task Force Z Volume 2, What's Eating You? What's Eating You? Quick read-up of the back of the book. Dead Men Running. Are we the baddies? That's right. The back of the book starts off with an "Are we the baddies" meme. Wild. After the shocking but not really betrayal of Mr. Bloom, the new Task Force Z are public enemy number 1. All of Gotham is hunting for them. They are out of money, out of friends, and out of Lazarus resin. But now they will have to face their most dangerous foe yet. And it's one of their own. And Red Hood will run afoul of his former allies, the Bat Family. And, as our team is on the run, the mysterious Powers International extends their claws deep into Gotham. Mr. Bloom and Man-Bat will be used by Powers, and we'll find out how deep their influence in Gotham City has always been. This volume collects Task Force Z, number 7 through 12 by Matthew Rosenberg, who worked on The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, and Detective Comics. And then Eddie Burrows, who worked on Detective Comics and Batman Urban Legends, as well as Jack Herbert, who worked on Action Comics. This volume also includes a variant cover gallery and a black and white page gallery. And I actually really enjoyed the black and white page gallery, believe it or not. So, a lot happens in this book. I said the last one was perfectly balanced tone-wise. As you might have already guessed from... the back of the book, this one leans into the comedy a bit more. It's not as dark, and there's not as much horror-y stuff as in the last one. It's still zombies, and it's still got just as much action and intense moments, but it does lean into the comedy more. Really much more. Still not as bad as like a Marvel movie, but the balance is off a bit. And the pacing isn't as good as Volume 1 either. There's a lot of back and forth between Two-Face founding Task Force Z, and then what's happening in the present, and it's kind of just boop, 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 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Pretty wild. But remember, the base team is Red Hood, alive and leading it, Bloom, alive and working alongside them, Zombie Man-Bat, Zombie Bane, Zombie Arkham Knight, and then Sundowner. So, there's this big, horrific dream sequence that Jason Todd has while the clones watch him sleep, because they're always watching him. They brought Mr. Freeze and KG Beast back to life after they died, and kind of forced them into Task Force Z. And they do the same with other villains. They're killing villains and then resurrecting them. They do the same with Copperhead, the Snake Man Copperhead, not the Poison Woman Copperhead. Why'd they have two? I'll never know. Which one do I prefer? Neither of them are particularly interesting. In truth. There's also Madam Crow? Or what? What the heck was her name? I straight up don't remember. I remember she's part of the victim syndicate. And she's one of Scarecrow's victims that Batman wasn't really able to save. She was first in she was in the Rebirth Detective Comics run. Excellent run. I have reviewed those books about that team. They were pretty good. Pretty good. But yeah, she's like a Scarecrow-y kind of lady. And they also recruit Solomon Grundy, who they don't have to kill. He's already dead. They just have to make him think they're friends. Easy peasy, lemon D's nutsy. But yeah, Bloom is experimenting on Man-Bat at Powers International. He's also experimenting on, who would you say? All his lab assistants, the people who work with him. He's experimenting on everybody, killing anyone who even questions him. And he's always talking about science, but he doesn't do it properly or ethically. He doesn't even record his data. He doesn't have any controls or anything. And that is pointed out to him, that he doesn't actually know how to do science. He's just kind of poking around and seeing what happens. Oh yeah, they also, I think, kill and resurrect Zaz. But Mr. Freeze steals a bunch of Lazarus resin to resurrect himself so that he doesn't have to work with them anymore, and he bolts. But that causes a problem because now they don't have enough resin to even keep the team alive that they have left. And it's not going to be great. But Red Hood stole some resin and gave it to Batman for testing. But since he and Batman aren't working together anymore, because they always flip-flop on that, he has to sneak into the Batcave and steal it. But Oracle is there, which he doesn't expect. And then Nightwing and Tim confront him outside. And he's like, "You think I'm scared of you two?" And then Cassandra Cain Batgirl shows up and he's like, "Oh, fuck, I'm scared of her." And he should be, because she is probably the second best hand-to-hand combatant in the DC universe. Fuck Richard Dragon, I love Cassandra Cain. I love Cassandra Cain! But I do think Lady Shiva is still tougher. Anyway. So he's fighting the three of them, and they're holding back a lot more than he is. Because of course they are. You know, they're still family. They don't want to really hurt him. And Batman is distracted, so he can't come fight. But it's actually a really good interaction. A lot of good dialogue when he's fighting some of the other main Bat family members. But there is a part where they talk about Spoiler, and then later they call Spoiler Batgirl. And then later in the book again, she is visibly shown as Spoiler. So it's like, did they forget that Spoiler was Spoiler for a sec? I know she and Cassandra both became Batgirls, but I think they did it at the same time. So I don't know why Spoiler is running around in her Spoiler outfit. I don't know why Stephanie's in her Spoiler outfit and Cassandra's dressed as Batgirl. In this continuity, they both became Batgirl at the same time. So why is she reverting back to Spoiler for this? And why did they mention her and call her Batgirl at one point? I think that's a continuity error. Straight up, I think that's a continuity error. I haven't read Batgirls. It actually is on my list, high on my list. Mostly just because I love Cassandra Cain so much. But alas. Anyway, Jason gets away with the resin. And Spoiler, by the way, I'm looking at the book right now. Spoiler has a bat symbol on her chest, but everything else is the Spoiler outfit. I don't know what's up, but they are calling her Spoiler on this page. So I don't know what's up. I do think that's an error. If it's not, let me know. It's hard to get everything straight. There's so many comics, don't you know? Anyway, they go to fight Bloom. They fight Bloom. Bada bing, bada boom. They fight their way to him anyway, and they get a new warehouse from Black Mask, which is actually pretty funny interaction. Turns out Bane isn't Bane. The Bane that died in the A-Day bombing, or gassing, was a fake. Bane had already been smuggled out of Arkham, which doesn't surprise any reader ever. But who is the Bane that is in here? Turns out the Thinker actually scanned the brains of a lot of villains that he's worked with and met and stuff without their consent. And so he has the memories of a lot of different villains, and that's what Task Force Z was using to bring them back to life, because they were bringing them back to life, but they needed memories, so he was putting like scans of them in his head. And big spoiler, the Bane is Gotham. The hero Gotham that Psychopirate drove insane from Tom King's Batman run, the first volume. I don't think I've reviewed that volume yet, but I will. I've already got my notes for it ready and everything, actually. But that's kind of spoiled for you in the trade, because they kind of show it like right on like one of the first 2 pages. And it's like, oh, and it also spoils Bloom's new outfit that's coming up. But one thing I do have to say is, the writers of this book clearly loved Batman Super Heavy. If you don't know what Batman Super Heavy is, it is towards the end of the New 52 in Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman run. In the Batman in-game story, which we have reviewed on this channel, Batman and the Joker die together by not quite a Lazarus pit. It's an unrefined Dionysium pit, which can become a Lazarus pit. They're both killed. The Dionysium seeks into them and heals them, brings them back to life. But when it does, it wipes their head clean of memories. It just kind of makes them a blank slate. They're both complete amnesiacs. Which makes Alfred happy, because now Bruce can have a chance at actual happiness. It doesn't last long. Maybe like less than 2 volumes. Maybe we did review Super Heavy. Now that I think about it, I think we might have actually finished reviewing it. It's so hard to remember. There's so many things we've reviewed and so much we have yet to review. But then Powers International, the company in this book that's more villainous, makes a new Batman. They make a Batman that works directly with the police and can be held accountable by law enforcement but still has a secret identity. And they pick Jim Gordon to be the Batman. And I thought it was such a cool, interesting, unique idea. Jim Gordon had this more tactical bat suit, and he had a gun that shot little batarangs, which I think really works for him. And the Rookie suit, everybody hated it. I think it's grown on a lot of people, but so many people just didn't give that story a chance, even though Batman was kind of one of the best things from the New 52. I won't say the best, because, you know, Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing and Jeff Lemire's Animal Man were really, really incredible. But it probably was the best thing from the New 52. Let's not kid ourselves, huh? But a lot of people saw like these big kind of rabbit ear antennae it had, and I think that turned them off, even though that's just kind of part of a Batman aesthetic. But it's a really cool suit. I have the Mattel figure of it. It's a really cool like police car bat suit that Jim Gordon can be in and fight, but it can also fight with an AI alongside him, and they call it the Rookie. And I think Batwing actually put an AI, like a different AI inside it or something, in Detective Comics, in the Rebirth Detective Comics run. So I think Rookie was kind of out there kicking around, but I think it might have been destroyed. But I guess Powers had another one laying around, because Mr. Bloom puts it on, all but the helmet. And there's that. Plus, they bring Bloom back as a villain, and I said in the last Task Force Z review that I thought Bloom was a very, very underrated villain, though he's not nearly as creepy in this book as he was in the Batman book. He does have a power-dampening collar on, but also his personality is much different. He's much more jokey and jovial. But still, I really like Bloom. I prefer the way Snyder wrote him, but this Bloom's cool too. But there's just so much from the Super Heavy story that a lot of fans didn't even give the time of day in this book. And I think it really is a love letter to that lesser read part of Snyder and Capullo's work on Batman. And I appreciate that, because I thought that was a really good, interesting, unique part of the run. And I actually wanted James Gordon's Batman to have more time in the spotlight. At the end of his first real story, Bruce comes back. He uses the memory machine from Future's End. I always get Future's End and Future State confused. I think it was Future's End, to kind of put that shit back in his head. But, you know, it didn't. But there's a nice love letter to it here. And we also get Gotham and Gotham Girl back. Gotham Girl's still been flying around, but I guess writers just forgot about her. No one wanted to use her for anything. And they brought Gotham back for a little bit too, which is pretty awesome. Because I really liked that story. I really liked Gotham and Gotham Girl, and I would love figures of them. Come on, McFarlane. I know how much you love to only make Batman characters. You can't give us Gotham and Gotham Girl and Bloom. They did give us Rookie, I think. Didn't McFarlane make a Rookie? They definitely made Jim Gordon Batman. He's got that cool purple platinum edition version. But oh well. You know, Red Hood also kind of gets his death faked Bloom does a lot of mind control stuff, and he uses the memory implanting tech to put his memories in the zombies. So he has like an army of himself with other villains' powers, which is pretty cool. It doesn't last long, though. Does not last long. But yeah, I like Red Hood in this. I like Gotham in this. I like Solomon Grundy a lot in this. Yeah, the pacing is off. Yeah, Bloom has been recharacterized. But once again, he was a villain from a story that a lot of people just chose to skip because they don't like to try new things and just want the same exact stories from Batman over and 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 over. But Bloom kind of brings the Two-Face personality back out of Harvey, but then Two-Face pretends to be Harvey because he doesn't want to work for Bloom. And Two-Face ends up stealing the rest of the Lazarus resin and then bringing a bunch of villains back to life to work for him. And that's how it ends. So there will be more Task Force Z stuff in the future with Two-Face. We just got to get there. I don't think it's happened yet at the time of recording this. And of course you get the variant covers in the back. And also these black and white pages that haven't been colored. They're very cool. I really like that. I would like to see more of that in books. But yeah, at the time of recording, that is it for Task Force Z. There are only 2 volumes out, and they're both one big, pretty complete story. I really liked it. The art is actually really, really good. It's dark, but also colorful. They really pulled that off well. I think a lot of the characterizations are spot on, even though they did change Bloom's character a lot. And yeah, the comedy is much more prevalent in this. There's not as good of a balance. The pacing isn't as good, but it is still a good book. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description down below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. As in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.